All right, so if you guys watched the last video, you'll know that I had an issue with the F30. Oh, I think I got it. Oh, that was pleasant. That might be a bad sign. That sucks, man. Unfortunately, we couldn't figure it out in that video, so that's still ongoing. And again, if you watched it, you would have noticed that I had coolant for one of my cars. Well, not one of my cars. I'll tell you guys which car it is. It's this one right over here. So if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you'll remember this was my car. I started the channel with this car, but since then I sold it to my brother, and unfortunately it's been having an issue, a coolant issue. So these cars are known for a few problems. It's the BMW. I mean, come on, what else do you guys expect? So it's had a common coolant issue before, which we already fixed and we resolved. However, I think this time it's another common issue. So if I pop the hood real quick, unfortunately you guys probably won't see it too well just because it is a little hidden, but it's a little flange piece, which of course BMW makes out of plastic. Why do they keep on doing that? I have no idea. So it sits somewhere in the front over here underneath the intake and behind this. So we're gonna try to get to that and fix it, replace it with an aluminum piece. All right, so we're gonna start off by taking off the intake, which is gonna be super easy. We gotta remove this, that, remove it from here, and remove this 13 over here. So with all that, it should be able to lift up and away. To remove the engine cover in this car, obviously we have a strut brace here, which is aftermarket, so typically you probably want to have to do that, but we're gonna have to remove it. That way we can lift this thing up. So let's do that. All right, so with that out of the way, we can actually lift up the engine cover so we can get some better access. It's right over here. I'm wondering if we can actually access it without taking all of this out. I feel like we should be able to, but there's only one way to find out. All right guys, so off camera, we went ahead and removed this sensor. All you gotta do here is just press on this thing and it'll unlock it. Next thing we're gonna do, because I think if I open this up, it's gonna start leaking coolant everywhere. So we're gonna go ahead and drain all the coolant from the car. We're gonna do that using the auxiliary radiator behind the wheel. So we're gonna jack up the car, we're gonna take off the wheel, and then we're gonna try to drain all the coolant. We're gonna try to drain all the coolant. I didn't want to do this, but I feel like if we take off that flange, the coolant's gonna go flying everywhere, so we might as well just do it properly. I could be wrong. I swear, that flange doesn't really have coolant flowing through it. That's all right. We're gonna do it the right way. We took off the wheel. Now we gotta take off the fender liner, which is a whole bunch of 8 mils all around. Power tools makes your life easier. So since we have to drain it from here, we gotta remove this part of the splash guard, which I didn't really consider, but that's just some more 8 mil, so shouldn't be too bad. All right, so while the coolant's draining, we're gonna go ahead and remove that flange. Like I was telling you guys before, there's two 10 mil bolts holding it in. This one is tougher to reach. If you guys have a ratcheting wrench, that'll help you out a lot. Or you can just use a normal wrench. We use a normal wrench and we got it loose. We should be able to just do the rest with our hand. You guys can see that. And then the other one should be easier. That one I'm actually gonna use something like this and see if we can break it free. There it goes. All right, similar thing though. Probably just gonna do it with my hand. So that way we don't lose anything. All right, it's coming out. There it goes. Can you guys see just how beat up that is? It's literally broken. It's corroded, it's broken. So this car has been leaking coolant, but I should probably clarify, it's not like spewing coolant. Like it's leaking coolant, but it's a pretty slow leak. Like the car still had coolant inside. It's not like this hose right over here. When this one breaks, if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, I replaced this. And that one, when it broke, it like spewed coolant out. The car was undrivable. This one has been like leaking coolant. I think it's because it's just been like leaking a little bit because it's corroded. But who knows? We could do all this and this not even be the actual issue, which would be hilarious. We're only doing this because when it was leaking coolant, my brother, when he was driving the car, he saw smoke coming out from the front. So it makes sense. If it's leaking coolant from the front over here, we know it's not this hose. This is a common failure point on these N55, so we're hoping this resolves it. But if it doesn't, we'll be back with another video. All right, guys, my typical a few moments later. So we took some time. Where did we leave off? I don't even remember. Oh, we took this thing off. So we got the bolts off. We got this thing off. Here, I'll show you guys the old one. So this is the old one. So this is where it was corroded and cracked, whereas, you know, just kind of like its standard stuff. Look how corroded that is. That's nasty. But to get it out of the hose, that was a bit of a challenge. We tried to like pull it out, but that wasn't working. So what we did is, because obviously we don't care about this, we're gonna be replacing it. We took a plier and literally like crushed it until it broke. Once it broke, and also we were really careful to point the hose downwards so nothing fell inside, don't worry. We thought about that, we crushed it, everything fell out. And then after that, we took out the old metal ring, which is in here somewhere, this right over here. So with that, I just took a pick tool, pulled it out. It was a pain. That was probably the most painful part of this whole process, because we tried pulling it off for so long, but that just wasn't working. So doing that helped a lot, but just be really careful you don't drop anything inside there. Now, put on the new one. Speaking of the new one, you guys haven't seen it yet. All right, so check this out. This is the old original one, plastic. This is a new one. This one is made out of billet aluminum. It's way better quality. It's not gonna corrode like this. It actually comes with a new gasket as well. So here's the new clamp. So what we're gonna have to do is just put this like that. Put this like that. Nice and easy. And then we're gonna tighten this up, and I think that's just a Phillips. So we're gonna tighten it up on the same spot that the old one used to be. So it's been some time. I feel like it's one hurdle after the other. So we tried to put the new flange in, and it wasn't going in. But my brother actually had a really good idea. Apparently the gasket is just thicker on the new one than the original. So if you're gonna do this, hold on to your original gasket, because we actually ended up cleaning off the original gasket, re-lubing it, and reusing it. I know that's probably not ideal, but the new one just wasn't going on. Maybe in the future we'll get like a new OEM one and reuse that. Maybe if you guys are gonna do this from the get-go, maybe do that. Get this new flange, the aluminum one, and get an OEM gasket, because the one that comes with the flange kind of sucks. Like, it just wasn't going in no matter what we did. So yeah, anyways, also we had a bit of a change of plan. So what we did instead was we actually put the flange on first, and then what we're gonna do is just put the hose on later. And by later, I mean right now, because it was just easier to maneuver and all that. So another update, we got everything pretty much back together. We didn't put back on the engine cover as well as the strut bar, just because we want to be able to see the flange down there, because we're gonna start filling up with coolant. If it's leaking coolant, that would suck, but we want to be able to see it and watch it. But yeah, otherwise, guys, we just have to put coolant in the car. So we're gonna fill up the overflow tank to the max line. We're gonna run the whole thing where it basically like flushes out all the air out of the car. If you guys don't know how to do it, you basically have to put the car into accessory mode, the fan on the lowest, the heat all the way up, and then you have to press and hold the gas until you hear the system start purging, which we should be able to hear. Let's see if we hear it. I don't hear it yet. All right, so I hear it now. Can you guys hear that? It basically sounds like water pouring, because all the air is basically being bled out of the system. You'll also be able to see we filled it up to the max, but now it's dropping below, and that's because there's air making it look like we had more coolant than we actually did. That's totally fine. We're just gonna keep on filling it up with 50-50 coolant and distilled water. Yeah, we gotta let this run for a bit. So we'll check back in when this is all done. All right, so last update for the day. We are officially done. Everything is back on the car. The engine cover, the strut brace, the intake, the coolant is now filled and where it should be. But anyways, we are all set. Again, guys, we don't even know for sure the coolant issue is being caused by that flange, but since it's such a common failure point for BMWs, for the N55, we figured we'd just change it anyways. And again, as one last reminder, this is what the original piece looks like. I mean, come on, BMW. Why do they keep on putting plastic pieces in their cars? It's almost like they want them to fail. Anyways, we're not gonna get into that. But anyways, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for today. So hopefully this helped you out. Maybe it was entertaining, I don't know. Regardless, if you enjoyed it, drop it a like, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, with that said, this video is pretty much done. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.